The U.S. government manages a visa program that allows employers to force American workers to train their cheaper foreign replacements. The H-1B visa, one of an alphabet soup of guest worker programs that replace and displace Americans while exploiting guest workers. The H-1B visa dangles the possibility of an eventual green card and U.S. citizenship. But first, the H-1B worker must tie themselves to the employer who sponsors them. It's the employer who holds the visa, not the worker, a kind of modern-day indentured servitude. Employers love the program because it gives them a deep pool of young, inexpensive, and captive labor they can legally draw from in order to bypass qualified Americans who might demand things like market wages, good working conditions, and the ability to change jobs if they aren't happy. The entire purpose of the program is to help American employers avoid American workers. Take it from this immigration attorney.
Because our goal here, of course, is to meet the requirements, number one, but also do so as inexpensively as possible, keeping in mind our goal. And our goal is clearly not to find a qualified and interested U.S. worker. And, you know, that, in a sense, that sounds funny, but it's what we're trying to do here.
Over 400,000 Americans graduate with STEM degrees every year. Less than half of them find careers in STEM occupations. There is no shortage of qualified and interested Americans. But the government issues more than 100,000 H-1B visas every year to companies who hire mostly young, foreign workers who are starting their careers. Most H-1B workers are classified as entry level. These are not the best and the brightest. And many Americans who have experience in these fields have suffered the indignity of having to train their foreign replacements in exchange for a pink slip and severance package. There is a place in our immigration system for exceptional talents, but it's not the H-1B program.
Welcome to the J.J. Carrell Show. That was from Numbers USA. And I picked that because it's a very easy way they use to describe the H-1B debacle. 100,000, maybe more or less a year, but every year, it's not 100,000 total in America. It's every year. They can re-up for 6 years. So we're talking hundreds of thousands. So let's just go off a simple thing, 100,000, 6 years, a 6-year window, 600,000 H-1B visas. That's not even close, but let's just stay with it. 70% are Indians. 420,000 Indians from a nation of what, 1.5 billion people? Majority of the nation has no running water, no electricity. Their daily trash system is just to throw it on the street. Known diploma mills. Not even question. Just fake certificates, diplomas. You can imagine everything's fake. And yet, we keep bringing in H-1B visa holders. I'll tell you personally, here, I live in south of Kansas City. Huge tech area where I live. Huge. There are multi-unit apartment complexes going up. And when I mean multi-unit, I'm talking 500, 1,000 units. They're nice. Don't get me wrong. They're not eyesores. They're just, you're like, holy smokes. Are we having babies that fast? Like, is there a surge, a resurgence in American population in Kansas City? No, of course not. We're not even at the replacement level. You go knock on any random door in those new apartments, and you will find an Indian national. I lived it. I experienced it. When we moved back here from California, where my wife lives or grew up, we were waiting for a house to be finished being built. So we had 3 weeks. We stayed in an apartment, nice apartment building, huge, one of those 1,000 apartment places with parking garage and workout gyms and pools and just real nice. All Indian nationals. I don't have anything against Indian nationals, but why do I have to import all of these Indian nationals when you saw the video and it's factually true? Hundreds of thousands of graduating, not unemployed STEM guys, not guys that had to train their replacements, but every single year, hundreds of thousands of STEM graduated students go unemployed. Why are we bringing in hundreds of thousands of foreigners? Why? Because they get paid less and their visa is tied to the job. So if you know that the visa gets held by the employer and Mohammed Abdul so-and-so does not like his job, is being treated like crap, and says, hey, F you, I'm out. The employer just says, that's fine. I will call USCIS, which ironically is here in Kansas City, and they will revoke your visa. Now, either get back to Mumbai or get back to work. Your choice. I like my job. I'll stay. I know you will. But sir, can I get at least somewhere near the salary of that really nice white gentleman that was like 55 years old that was with your company for 35 years that you fired but you made him train me? That guy, can I get paid close to him? No. You're going to get paid less and you're going to do more work and you're going to shut up. Yes, sir. That's how it is. Oh, you didn't know the H-1 visa, the visa holder is not the legal immigrant, it's the employer. You didn't know that? We're just talking about H-1Bs. We're not talking about the 2s, the Ls, the Fs, the Us, illegal aliens by the millions. Why do you think there's a housing shortage? Why do you think there's a shortage of jobs? Why do you think the economy's tanking? Why do you think housing costs is skyrocketing? Why do you think food costs are skyrocketing? If you know anything about capitalism 101, then you understand supply and demand. So let me just break it down. If there's some new viewers from the left that don't get it or some rhinos, let me try to bring it down to the dumbest level I can. Right now, you have 50 million illegal aliens in the country. You also have 55 million legal immigrants, like these H-1Bs. And guess what those 105 million people need? Every single day they need it. They need shelter, which is called a house or an apartment. They need to eat food. But instead of having housing for 350 million Americans and feeding 350 Americans food, we're feeding 455 million. We're housing 455 million. That's called scarcity. That's called supply shortage. Demand high. High demand, low supply, high prices. Surplus of anything, demand still strong, but I have a surplus, the cost goes down. So when Donald Trump comes out and says, how about a 50-year mortgage? How about for JP Mortgage or Lending Tree or whatever, you're going to be slave to them for 20 more years. Oh, yeah, Mr. President, I didn't vote for that. I didn't vote for any of that, but yeah, that sounds great. I'll be a slave for 20 more years. We didn't vote for any of this crap. None of it. None of it. We didn't ask for more H-1B. We asked for it to all be shut down. We asked for all of the illegal aliens to be mass deported, and we asked for a lower limit or almost a shutdown of legal immigration. And you've done nothing. I want you to listen to Will Cain from Fox News explain this debacle in a different way than Numbers USA, but it's all the same. You, the American person, the American citizen, is getting jammed up because they can't stand us.
What is an H-1B visa? Follow me over to the wall. H-1B visas are a mechanism of legal immigration that is supposed to bring in skilled workers into the United States. They allow for U.S. employers to hire foreign professionals in specialty occupations. What are those occupations? Well, they're mostly in the fields of tech, engineering, medicine, finance, IT. It requires that a bachelor's degree accompany that worker or higher education in a specified field. Now, here's how it works. An employer sponsors a foreign worker, and they can sponsor that visa for up to 3 years and then extend it to 6 years. Workers can apply for permanent residency later. There is a visa cap, 85,000 new visas each year. Now, of those 85,000, those are only new visas, new H-1Bs. About 400,000 every year are approved. Most of those are renewals, showing that they don't just stay for 3 years, but are renewed and extended past that time frame. Currently, there are supposedly around 700,000 H-1B visa holders in America. Now, who is coming to this country to take these high-skilled jobs? As I mentioned, STEM fields dominate the occupations, and most of the workers come from India. In fact, 70% of H-1B visa holders come from India. Another 10 to 15% come from China. 80% of H-1B visa approvals are for entry-level or junior-level jobs. That's a little hard to stomach when we hear that we're not talented enough or that we're not skilled enough for these jobs, when you consider that most of these jobs are actually at entry or junior level jobs. And it's definitely to the benefit of corporations, tech companies that can hire foreign workers, trust me on this, cheaper than American workers. This is laid out, by the way, by billionaire tech entrepreneur Palmer Luckey.
There's so much H-1B abuse. You would not believe what I saw when I was in Silicon Valley. It is insane. It's obviously a program to try and replace U.S. workers with basically slave labor that can't ever escape. The H-1B abuse is crazy.
And it's not just Silicon Valley. The Labor Department launched at least 175 investigations targeting potential abuses in the H-1B visa program. They alleged some foreign workers with advanced degrees paid less than what the job description said. That, of course, not only deprives American workers of that job, who have to have the going rate, but it drives down wages for visa holders and American workers.
So they're asking for H-1B, they're asking for diplomas. Well, why do you need a diploma to do an entry-level job? See, there's a whole nother visa program that handles hospitality, low-entry jobs. Those are called H-2B visas. There's 66,000 of those a year with renewables. And every year, the Congress can change that number from 66,000 to 6 million if they want. Do you see the whole lie? Do you see how every single thing is a bona fide lie? And then our leader of the MAGA movement, which he has made very clear he created. You explain to me, Mr. Trump, how in the hell all of these legal immigrants are going to make America great again? Well, if you listen to Donald Trump, they're going to make America great again because they're more talented than us. As he says, well, how am I going to take someone off of the unemployment line and have them make missiles? Well, I'm glad you asked that to Laura Ingraham, because, sir, that happened before in American history. Who made all the missiles and the bombs and all the clothing and everything for our war fighters overseas? Well, that would be the Americans. That would be the women that would work in the factories. Do you think those housewives, those secretaries, those teachers, do you think they knew how to make missiles? How they could bend steel? No. They learned how to do it immediately because they're Americans. And now we're being mocked by the man that we put in office. That we said, MAGA. That's all we care about, sir. MAGA. I don't know how many. You said you created it. How do you not understand what the hell MAGA does mean? It means non-legal and illegal immigrants in our country. It means make America great. It means America first, America last, America in the middle, America only. And yet we don't get that. We get hundreds of thousands of Indians. I like to play this thought game, okay? Because it's just critical thinking 101. That's all it is. America, needs 600,000 Chinese nationals, students, on top of another couple 100,000 of other foreign nationals to come into America. We got to have them. We got to have them. If we got to have them, then why are we just stopping at 600,000? If it's so great, why don't we bring in 6 million? If our economy hinges on the fact that we need as many illegal and legal foreign nationals that are illiterate in their own language, don't know how to speak English, have no idea about our cultural norms, and that's good for America, then why don't we bring in 350 million? Why don't we equal the very untalented, uneducated, undesirable Americans and match them at least with equal number of foreign nationals? It just makes sense. It just makes sense. If you're telling me that we have to have this, our economy hinges on it, then why are we going to the minimum? Why are we not bringing in as many as we can? Hell, why don't we just replace us completely and make this nation just Chinese and Indians? Why not? Why not? And no one give anyone a honest, realistic answer. Because this is on a level of stupid that it's hard to articulate. It's a level of corruption and greed and treason against our body of our citizens that is so deep and so grotesque, it's hard to articulate. I can't stand Barack Obama. I have no idea who this guy is. But I'm going to steal a line from him. But I want to put it in a different context because I don't believe in the way that he said it. But what he said was almost a quote: how much money do you need to make? Now, what he was talking about was a socialistic, communistic kind of crazy utopia. My question is, all you corporations, all of you tech giants, how much profit do you have to make? Like, is $10 billion a year just not enough? So now you got to destroy the labor cost and bring in illegal or legal immigrants to replace us. So now you make 13 billion. That was what you wanted to create another 30%, squeeze another 30%. Hell, squeeze another 50%, squeeze 100%, squeeze 1% more profit. You don't care about the American worker. This is dangerous what's happening right now. This is dangerous. Let me explain. When enough Americans have to train their replacements and those replacements begin to live, eat, drive better cars, live in nicer homes than the people they replaced, and they're struggling to feed their families, that is when a massive militia is going to rise up. And it won't take years. It will take weeks. And someone or someones will rise up within those militias, and they will be charismatic. And they will be able to articulate extremely clearly and define reasons why we have to burn every single thing in this country to the ground. And when that happens, all of the immigrants, legal and illegal, will run for the borders. And then we will be inflicted by chaos, pain, suffering, and violence that we've never seen before. That's why it's dangerous. We're not there yet, but I'm telling you, we're damn close. We're damn close. I want to play this video, number 3, and it's attorneys. Listen to this attorney talking about her clients that have been removed because we had to bring in Indians to take over her clients' jobs.
You've seen this abuse. You've seen this affect American workers?
Oh, yes. Thousands and thousands of American workers, and it's not coming off 5 years of unemployment line. These are workers that have been working decades in these companies who are doing a great job, nothing against them in their employment file, and they're being told by the hundreds. They get together and say, hey, all of you are being fired. You're all being replaced by these new workers. In the end, the workers are paid a lot less, and the bonuses at the end of the year for those CEOs go up dramatically. The foreign workers, like you said, have to have that visa support by the employer. So how are they going to change jobs if they're being paid little and they're being worked to death and the conditions are not great? But what are they going to do? They're stuck with those employers. So they are suffering. And the winner in this isn't the foreign worker. The winner is not the American worker. It's the CEO and the executives who are making millions of dollars off of this cheap labor.
So
And those CEOs, when the proverbial S hits the fan, people are going to come for your scalps. And they're going to take everything you have. And everything else that's there, they're going to burn it to the ground. So you better have a go bag to get out of this country. How much money does a CEO need? Is there a real difference from a CEO bonus package if you had all the Americans and you did everything righteous and moral, and your bonus at the end of the year was $8 million? Or you brought in all of these people from all over the world and removed American workers, and your bonus was $14 million. Does that make a difference in your life? I've seen all the studies about how much you can make and what percentage of your life happiness goes up and joy. It's insignificant after a certain period of time, and it's way less than $1 million. This is all tied together because America is in a moral rot. America is a secular nation. Christians would never do this to their fellow neighbors. We would never. Even a high-level CEO would never do that to a low-level worker that they've never met. They would never, ever, ever inflict that type of evil on their employees. Just wouldn't happen. But it's happening now. I'm going to show you a clip from CBS 60 Minutes. Not your conservative bastion, 60 Minutes. But listen to these two men that had to train the people that were going to replace them. Can you even imagine the indignity of that?
We're going to stand up as Americans and say enough is enough. We're not going to take it anymore.
He lost his job to a foreign worker like thousands of other Americans every year, laid off because of a program that allows companies to replace employees with foreign labor. But before leaving, they often are asked to train their replacements.
I can't wrap my mind around training somebody to take my position. You know, this is my livelihood. How am I supposed to feel?
I've heard some workers say that this is like digging your own grave. Is that what it feels like?
It feels worse than that.
I think for once we're going to stand up as Americans.
It feels worse than that because you've lost all of your dignity. I didn't see a bunch of 50-year-old white men. I saw some white men. I saw some Asians, Hispanic, a couple black men. This is affecting, and that gentleman speaking first is obviously a legal immigrant here. You're destroying the fabric of America. And the leader of the MAGA movement, Donald Trump, is championing it. At the same time, he is ridiculing and mocking us and telling us that we're not as talented or as smart as our replacements. It's not going to go well, sir. All of the wars that you stopped in the Middle East that basically Americans don't give two craps about. The war in Ukraine that you haven't stopped after 48 hours. It's going on almost a year. Nobody gives a crap about that. All of your pontificating and letter writing for Bibi Netanyahu and Israel, nobody cares about that either, sir. Nobody gives a rip. Nobody cares about your potential Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody cares about anything except what's happening in America. And you don't seem to really care. Or you seem very distracted. And again, I'm one of your biggest supporters. I'm the guy that was pounding the drum for you, saying that this is the only guy for the job. And I'm wavering. I'm questioning. I'm not some new guy to the MAGA movement. I'm not some new guy into politics. So can you imagine what they're feeling, Mr. President? The people that have really no loyalty to you, as I do, and people like me. Do you think they're hanging out, backing you up? Or do you think they already throw in the towel with you? There needs to be massive change in that White House. And it needs to happen like right now. But I'm going to show you someone that I have grown to kind of despise in a very, very short time. I always questioned him a little bit. I found him to be highly intelligent. And so I'd watch him, but I was always uneasy. Maybe it was his cadence. Maybe it was how he's a dweeb. I don't know. But Ben Shapiro is grotesque. And I want you to listen to what he thinks about Americans and American workers. Buckle up and hold on tight.
There are, in fact, certain positions in the United States that require a level of expertise that may not be reachable in the numbers that are currently being churned out by American universities. That is a shortcoming of our educational system, and it is a problem. And so you can say we should up our game. I agree. We should absolutely up our game educationally. But in the meantime, if you do not bring in the labor supply, particularly to tech will go find the labor supply. And so what you will end up with is an office that was employing 30 Americans and 3 H-1B visa people. If the costs grow too high, simply moving to another country where they hire 30 Indians and 0 Americans. Right? This is the problem with the reason companies offshore is not because it's easy or fun to simply move your company somewhere else. It's because the labor cost becomes so prohibitive in the United States that companies move away. And you can try to tariff them back, but all that does is artificially raise the price on Americans. Again, we're talking about affordability. There are trade-offs in economics. Autarky comes with the fun feeling that everybody in America is making American product. It comes with the very large downside that your products are economically inefficient, they don't work as well, and you're not globally competitive. Right? All policies have trade-offs. It is also better for the American people, broadly speaking, to bring in the best from other countries. Now, how do you determine the best? You can make, again, the case that the H-1B visa program is fatally flawed. It's not bringing in enough of the best. I will point out that many of our best founders in the United States are either immigrants or the children of immigrants who came in on H-1B visas,
God
or
almighty.
who came in just generally without an H-1B visa through other forms of legal immigration as students. And the reality is that maybe our screening procedures should be different, but we need to see specifics on what the screening procedures you're applying are that would allow for there to be, for example, an Elon Musk American citizen creating tens of thousands of jobs, or the head of Google, Sundar Pichai, creating tens of thousands of jobs, or the head of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Now you can say that maybe if those people didn't exist, there would be an American who just did that job, but that is now living in the realm of theory. It's not living in the realm of reality. Brain draining other countries is also a good thing for America in terms of our own global competitiveness.
I can't stand that guy. I see dudes like that, and I think of what my father used to tell me. Son, that's a man that's never been punched in his face. And what my father was saying is he has all the security in the world. He's just going to say whatever the hell he wants because there's no physical repercussions at all for this guy. So let's listen to his message, or let's talk about his message. Again, well, Ben, if I have 30 employees and I need to bring in 3 H-1Bs, well, why don't I just bring in all 30 of them? If they're that great, if the brain drain, as you say, is so effing great, then why do we have 30 people in a company? 27 of them are Americans. Why don't we have 30 Indians, 30 Chinese, 30 Jews, whatever it is, Ben? Combination of it, whatever. Why, Ben? Why? Why not? H-1Bs are not the best of the best, you jackass. There's other visas for that. There are other visas that are just, they're cut away for highly intelligent and very, very specific talents that are unique, even in the world, not just America, in the world. There's other visas for that, you jackass. We just listened to Will Kane say that 80% of these freaking H-1Bs are all entry level. No diploma needed. So who's in the realm of reality here, Ben? Why did America become great? Was it because we had all foreign nationals here? Is that what it is? So our whole history is a lie, which I believe quite a bit of it is a lie. But you're telling me that America's not great because of Americans? America was built to the greatest power in the world's ever seen because, in spite of us, because they had a lot of illegal aliens and legal immigrants. Are you telling me, are you trying to sell me that, Ben? Are you trying to sell me a subscription to the Daily Wire that I've already cut up, as well as millions of other people, as your company goes completely bankrupt because nobody wants to believe or listen to your shit anymore? You have mass layoffs going on. Why? Because no one wants to listen to your crap. I just saw an amazing, I posted on my X if you want to see it. I posted, this was incredible. I didn't even think of it. I got to give this guy amazing respect. Yesterday, I played on a show, Ben Shapiro telling us, well, if you can't afford your country, then you just need to leave. You can't afford to live in your state, then in your neighborhood, then you just got to leave. And this black man came on and he said, I'm so disgusted with this piece of trash, Ben Shapiro. And he says, so let me do this, Ben. I'm going to take what you just said, and I'm going to apply it to you in Israel. Israel is 100% dependent on the United States of America. Well, Ben, and the Jews and the Muslims and the Christians and the Israelis and Israel, if you can't afford your country, then guess what? You need to move. How you like that, Ben? You want me to move away from my family because of the artificial inflation of houses, goods, products, because we brought in all these legal and illegal immigrants, and you think it's no big deal. You need to leave. But I've lived here for 5 generations. My brothers are here, my nieces and nephews, my mom, my grandma, and I don't care. Get out. Okay, I'm getting out. I'm cutting out of all payment from Israel. Israel can't survive without America's money, so guess what, Ben? Israel needs to get the hell out of Israel. There is now, I believe, no longer a war of Republicans and Democrats, political. This has now become a class struggle. Maybe this is what they've always wanted. I don't know, and I don't care. I just see this as elites versus the middle class. And the middle class is the host of all the parasites. And they're devouring us right now. This cannot sustain itself, meaning we're not going on like this into the future forever. Something is going to have to give. And when that does give, I predict that give will manifest into raging violence, massive suffering and chaos. The elites know it. They feel it. They just don't care. They're so filled with hubris and arrogance and hatred and disgust for people like us. I just posted today on my website and my Substack, I think, a very good article. And the message I was saying in this writing, this article, was the titles of what I was have been so bastardized that a lot of us are kind of like lost again. First, we were Republicans. Republicans have there's no bearing on there's no definition of being a republic that defines me. So we went to conservatives. They've destroyed the conservatives so much that nobody even understands what a conservative is. Then we went to MAGA, Make America Great Again. Donald Trump now is turning MAGA into something that I have no idea. What does MAGA stand for? It doesn't stand for Make America Great anymore. What is America First? What does America First even mean anymore? Because there's cutouts to get around America First. So we're coming to this. I have one more title that people are flocking to, and it's America Only. Maybe that will stick. I don't know. I think it's very direct. I thought America First was. But there's a second, third, fourth, and fifth place too. Who's in those positions? How much are we giving to them? I want to be America Only. The best way that you can support me is to go to my website and go to my Substack. I have tons of free content, tons of articles, tons of videos that are free. And I also have a paywall, and where I put tons of other videos and writings just for paid subscribers. And it's the best way you can support me is go to jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.com, or jjcarrell.substack.com. Best way you can support me. So much to talk about. Another way you can support me is by supporting the sponsors, my sponsors that support my show. Every sponsor that I discuss on my show, I use. There's nothing that I'm being told you got to do this and read this. And if there is, I'm just going to tell you, hey, I have a new product. I'm trying it out. But I'm telling you, I use these products. And one of the products that I use is patriotsmade.com. patriotsmade.com/JJ. What is that? It's a company that makes over 400 products, cleaning supplies, beef, chicken, power bars, lotions, and it's made in America by Americans for Americans. It's an international company, but it's made in America. All their products are clean. All of their products are, quote, green. And when I give my money to them, that means I don't give it to the box stores. I don't go to Walmart, and Walmart takes my profits and gives dividends to Christie Walton, an heir to the Walmart fortune, who then solely funds the No Kings protest. You see how that works? You see how that is how you take your power back, how you have some say in the way your money's going to be used. I'm tired of paying for my demise. And this is one of the ways. There's many ways to combat this, but this is one of the ways. I buy my power bars. I buy my vitamins. I buy my lotions. I buy my beef jerky. I buy several other products, but I buy them from Patriots Made. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. At least 1,000 of my viewers have already made the switch and love it. patriotsmade.com/JJ. I want to show, before I move on to a very, not a pleasant topic that I'm going to talk about, a topic that makes me human mad. I just want to show this picture. This is World War II in the assembly lines. This is number 6. Look at that. Do you think that beautiful woman on the left or in the middle, all the way in the top, do you think they were welding, say, 6 months prior to that? The idea that I need Indians in there, or Chinese, Japanese, Ecuadorians, Nigerians to make my bullets, you think that beautiful woman, who's now has to be in her 80s, 90s, or has passed away, you think that she grew up thinking, I'm going to make bullets. I'm going to make rounds for a magazine for my brother and my husband and his friends to go to war? Or do you think that she just rolled up her sleeve and said, train me, I'll do it? I don't see any Indian nationals in there. I don't. How did we win World War II? How did we win it? Well, we won it because of women like this and men going overseas, and men that had to stay here did this job. They did every job. And now I'm being told, because there's a global market, per Ben Shapiro with his tight little head, his hat that's squeezing his brain, that, well, it's a brain drain. We don't have enough brain power here in America. Well, why don't we, Ben? Well, why are you always so on the negative about America? I'm negative on the American government. That's different than being negative on the American people. The American people are resilient. We have been beaten down, lied to, cheated, stolen from. We've had it with people like Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and now we've had it with you, Donald Trump. You better change your ways, sir. You better never let those words come out of your mouth that America is not talented. Americans are less talented than the H-1B. I've been around a lot of the H-1B. I've seen this in my life. And Mr. President, they're not more talented than us. That is a slander. It's disgusting. And quite frankly, you need to come back on, say Laura Ingraham or Sean Hannity, wherever Fox News you go to, and issue an apology. That's where I would start. All right, something happened. I want to assume it's this past weekend. There is a gentleman named Gio Benitez. He is an openly gay ABC News anchor. And he's married to his husband, whatever the hell that means. Great. I'm not for gay marriage. I'm not for all that crap. But ultimately, who cares? I really don't care. This has nothing to do with being gay. Nothing. Zero to do with being gay. Well, why am I talking about this man and his husband? Well, because I'm Catholic. And the Catholic Church openly welcomed him into the church while his husband was his sponsor. It's called being confirmed into our faith. He went through what is called RCIA. It's a long process to become Catholic. But the priest knew that the man was gay. He knew that the man was married to another gay man. And they did a giant ceremony. And I want to show you just a few moments of it. I can't take it anymore. How beautiful it is for the body of Christ. Yeah, I got you, sweetheart. This isn't about being gay. This is about the Christian faith. The Christian doctrine that has been handed down to the Catholic faith, the Catholic Church. This is an abomination. You don't get to choose what you want to enforce from the Bible. You don't. But this priest allowed it to happen. Who is this priest? Can you please pull up, Nick, that picture that I sent you from Father Calvin Robinson? And Calvin and the Father Calvin Robinson, when you pull this up, I'm going to read it as this picture's up. Father Calvin Robinson said, "How is it that Cardinal Burke, Archbishop Vigano, Bishop Strickland, Father Altman, Father Pavone, Padre Peregrino get excommunicated, canceled, rebuked, and or disciplined by the Vatican, yet people like James Martin swan around promoting disordered lifestyles and sacramental sodomy while no consequences whatsoever." That's the priest underneath. He's there as Jesus Christ's disciple, proclaiming God's word to people, wearing an LGBTQ, XYZ, brutalized children, sodomy, disgusting colors. And yet not a peep from the Pope, not a peep from any bishop. In fact, I'm going to show you this next clip. If you can go to this next clip, Nick, of this. Let me set this up before you play it, if you don't mind. This is Bishop Strickland. Bishop Strickland goes in front of, this is the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops, which these bishops, what is it, 50 of them each state, 50 bishops, maybe one in D.C., I don't know, but 50 bishops-ish. 90% are registered Democrats. Make that make sense. Go ahead, try. And Father Strickland is at the USCCB in front of all the bishops, and he stands up. I'm going to show you the video, but basically this is what he does. He stands up and says, "This is what happened at this church. Openly defiles our faith, openly goes against and contradicts everything Jesus that we believe Jesus taught to us, mocks our faith, makes it absolutely worthless. And when he's done, and he says it very, very kindly, I want you to listen to what the bishop's response to him is. The bishop responds by ignoring him and begins to give an infomercial about a class at Notre Dame. You can't make this up, and this is why there needs to be an absolute cleansing of the Catholic Church from the Pope to the cardinals to the bishops. We have incredible priests. We have incredible bishops that are fighting against this, but there is a massive, massive homosexuality problem within the clergy of the priesthood in the United States, or not in the United States, in the entire Catholic Church. And I have effing had it. I'm not going to stand by and let these pedophiles, these homosexuals destroy my faith. You want to be a pedophile? Go to Epstein Island. Do whatever you want to do there and fight and get the justice of God. You want to be a gay man? Then go create your own gay church. My church does not allow this. My church says this is a sin. My church says you do this, you go to hell. What in God's name do we believe in anymore? What do we believe in anymore? Certainly not this crap. What is this? Don't you love having people come in and destroy everything that you've built and what you have created and love and cherish? Why can't you build your own crap? Why do you come into my world and destroy it with your sexual perversion? I don't want it. I demand you remove yourself from it. There are tons of Episcopal insane churches, Lutheran insane churches, Protestant, Baptists that love gays, love to fly the LGBTQ flag in the face of God in God's own house. Go ahead and find that church. Deal with the repercussions of mocking God in that church, but not in mine. Not in mine. Get the F out. Listen to Strickland. Thank you, Nick. Play this.
But since we're in the area of doctrine, I don't know how many of us have seen on the social media priests and others gathered celebrating the confirmation of a man living with a man openly, and it just needs to be addressed. Father James Martin once again involved. Great pictures of all of them smiling. Here we are talking about doctrine. I just thought I need to raise that issue. I know it's not part of any agenda, but this body gathered, we need to address it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop.
Thank you, Bishop Mossack. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just a word of thanks. This has been a 9-year process, beginning with the doctrinal note, and sincere thanks to the current members of the committee and the former members, and to Father Kunkel.
Dear God, can you just stop it? I just got to talk about this, and we'll bring this very, very effeminate, weak, George Costanza type guy back on, because I want my audience to hear the totality of what those three on the panel, excuse me, whoever the hell they are, some higher level of bishops. Where are the men? Where are the men? How's this not being repudiated? Why am I talking about it? Where are the priests revolting, condemning that other priest, saying, then you need to be deflocked. You got to get the hell out, dude. Go to your other fairy church. Call it the God of fairies. I don't care, but you're out. You're out. But we won't do that. Why would I expect anything to be done to this den of vipers? Why? Why would I expect anything to be done where these same bishops, the same men that were in that room, passed priest around that were pedophiles, sent them from Boston to California, from California to Boston, from New Mexico to Idaho, South Dakota down to Alabama. Just past pedophiles all over to just brutalize children, destroy lives. And nobody had any justice. Nobody. There's documented gay homosexual orgies that were fueled by cocaine and drugs inside the Vatican. Inside. You had the past Pope, Pope Francis, having dinner and dining with transvestites. Did Jesus just have meals with the righteous? No, he had meals with prostitutes, tax collectors, cheats, people, sinners like myself. But what he didn't do, he didn't celebrate it. Jesus sat there and had dinner, broke bread, and said, stop. You want to go to heaven? You need to believe in me. In order to believe in me, here are the 10 commandments. You can't be a prostitute anymore. You can't be a tax collector and steal from people. You can't cheat them. You can't lie. You can't commit murder. He didn't sit down at a dining room table with a bunch of transvestites and cheer them. I get this question quite a bit. Well, why are you still in that faith? Because those men are not my faith. Those men are facilitators of my faith. That's it. I don't believe they're infallible. I don't believe anything those jackasses tell me. I'm just like I won't leave America, I'm not leaving my church. I'm going to root out all of the sin. I'm going to root out the corruption. I'm going to root it out. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe this is the way I do it. Just talk about it and make everyone aware. I don't know. Maybe I get in a kinetic war. I don't know. I don't know how God's going to use me. I don't. I struggle with it every single day of my life. I have no idea how God's going to use me, and it infuriates me that I don't know. But I know that I'm not supposed to be quiet. I do know. That's the only thing I do know that God wants me to do is he does not want me to stop talking. Because I've asked him, if you don't want me to do this anymore, then can you just shut the door and let's just move on? Whatever. I don't care what it is. I just want to do your will. Close it down. Let's move on. But he doesn't. Another door opens and another door opens and another door opens. Because I think there needs to be people that talk truth. Nick, I don't know how much longer I can listen to this impotent George Costanza, but please let it finish out just so the audience can get the rest of this is the leaders of our church.
Our many theological advisors who've helped us along the way, along with our partners in Catholic healthcare.
He's the committee chairman of doctrine. You know what? Let me put myself in his position, because I've been in that position, where somebody from an audience or from within the meeting stood up within my organization and pointed out something that was horrible. In meetings, where I was just standing there trying to give something else. Well, somebody bring up something of that magnitude. Well, hold on a second. Let's discuss this. This is a big deal. They ignored it. Why? Because a significant percentage of those bishops are gay. It's already been documented, the homosexuality, the homosexual problem. Here's something I want, if you follow me on X and you follow me on Substack, go into the comment sections and see how many people crucified me about talking about Catholics compared to, say, yesterday when I talked about Jews. Interesting. Interesting, isn't it? Won't hear a damn thing. I'm not going to have anybody call me that I haven't spoken to for over a year and lecture me on Catholicism. I'll have none of my friends send me emails with 100 different links to prove to me about Catholicism. Nope, won't get that. But if I mention the J word or how Israel is not our best friend, oh, buddy, It's interesting how hypocrisy is so undesirable. It just is. Don't have any filter and talk when you have no fear. Be fearless in the face of evil, because that's what we're living through today.